Hello and welcome to Module 1, the Portal Navigation. In this module, we're going to take a walkthrough of the portal. Everyone has a portal based on their profile, whether those be students, teachers, school editors, school viewers, etc. I'll take you through the panels and show you some functionality you have within the portal. We'll also look at creating portal messages, which is a great way to communicate with various stakeholders based on profile. So if I wanted to put a portal message out to all students or all teachers, I could do that using this functionality. Next, we'll look at adding calendar events through the Focus portal, which both parents and students see when they enter their portal. And then we'll take a look at Messenger, which is a way to have a passive yet active communication with various stakeholders, whether those be teachers, students, parents, etc. So the first thing I'm going to do is come to the Focus portal. I've got a little of the screen cut off here, but we have the BPS Focus Training Sandbox open today. So any of the data that I'm going to be displaying today is scrambled to keep us FERPA compliant. But here's a portal. Everyone has a portal. You'll get a welcome message. Along the top, which I do not have visible here, you will see the school year and then the appropriate marking period that you can cycle back and forth through, whether that be marking periods within this school year, or since we've been using Focus, you can cycle back to previous school years and look at the data there. Along the side, we have our side navigation. These menus open up, and when you click on one, it opens up a set of submenus, and we're going to walk through most of these functions today within this series. You will also have alerts. Alerts show you things like pending grade changes, which we'll take a look at later on in Module 4, or you'll have these alerts that might come from Messenger from staff members. This is also where teachers will see alerts when the grading marking window is open and is closing. Here we have portal messages. There are currently no portal messages, but we're going to go ahead and walk through the creation of one of those in this module. Upcoming events to the calendar. Right now we have no upcoming events, but if we were in a parent view, that parent would see assignments that teachers created, or students would see upcoming events on their calendar for assignment creation by the teacher. But you can add items on here as well. So let's say we had a Title I night or a fundraiser evening, we could post that onto the Focus calendar that would be available for all of our stakeholders to see. We have the Find a Student box. There's so much in this Find a Student section that we're going to cover that in Module 2, both information we have at our fingertips about students, as well as creating custom student groups. So if I was interested in ESE students who maybe have a D or F in one of their academic classes with more than 5 days absent, and maybe they're freshmen, I could generate a list of those individuals and export that to Excel. It's really fabulous functionality that we're going to cover. You have the training box. I'll walk you through some of the information here in one of the last modules in this series. We have featured programs. Featured programs are just functions that you use often, and it kind of puts a little hot list there for you that you can link to it and head to somewhere else. Along the bottom, one of the things I like is this magnifying glass feature. So here's where you don't really need to know where something is in focus. You just have to know kind of generally what it's called, and this little function will get you there. So if I click on that little magnifying glass, and let's say I'm interested in test history. So I can just start typing test history, and you see it auto-populates some links here. And if I click on that link, it'll take me right into Focus where test history exists. And I could do the same if I was interested in, say, the student schedule. So I can start typing in student schedule, and boom, there it is. If I click on this link, and it will redirect me right into Focus where student schedules are located. If I ever get lost in down the rabbit hole in Focus and I need to get back to that portal page, all you need to do is click the link on the top and the left. For me right now, I'm in the training sandbox, which looks a little different, but yours in the live production site will be the BPS logo. And if you click on that, it brings you back to your portal. Along the bottom, we have Messenger. Messenger is something I'm going to cover later on in this module. We have the Help button. The Help button is nice because it serves as a contextual reference. So if I'm on a test history panel and I click the Help button, it will only retrieve files that are related to test history, which is really nice because I don't have to sort through a volume of help files to get the one bit of information that I need. And lastly is the Logout button. If you're not using Focus, it's probably a good idea to log out so you don't leave the keys to the kingdom there for anyone to use. But if, say, something goes on, you get preoccupied and you're inactive for 24 minutes, at the 24th minute, Focus will alert you and see if you want to still remain active for 1 minute. And if you choose nothing, it will log you out of the system automatically. That's just a quick navigation through the portal. So the first thing I'm going to show you is Messenger. So as you see this alert here in Messenger, that means someone has sent me a Messenger alert. So I'll explain those a little bit, that alerts from Focus Messenger are passive. So they will sit here as an alert. However, in 24 hours, if you have sent me a Focus Messenger alert and I don't open it, Focus will grab the contents of that alert and send it to the BPS email that you have associated with your Focus account. That's kind of a neat feature. So it's passive in the beginning for about 24 hours, and if folks choose to ignore that, it becomes active and sends them the content through their email. So how to activate Messenger is you click on this Messenger button here on the side, and it will open up recent chats that you've had. And you see on the bottom here, we have students, parents, and staff. So I'm allowed to send portal messages to my parents, which is kind of nice because if they don't look at the alert in 24 hours, it scoops up the content of the message and sends it to them. I can also do it to students as well. When I send it to students, if they choose not to see the alert, then it will wrap up the contents of the messages and send it to their BPS student email address, which is their student number at st.brevardschools.org, which they can all access through their Launchpad through O365. So if I wanted to send an individual message to a staff member, portal alert, I could click on the staff button on the bottom, and it will bring up a list of my staff members, and I can also filter. So if I was interested in sending this to a particular individual, in this case, I could start typing in letters of their name, and it will populate them here. I can click on their name. You have this big empty space here, which looks like where you would want to type, but you don't. You type in this little line down here, and I can just say, testing Messenger, and then I hit enter, which creates the message. Now, once the message is sent, it's sent for good. You can't edit it or retract it. But that would put a message on this teacher's portal here that they would have to check on. Now, if I don't want the contents of the message to appear for the teacher in this section, I can hide that message by a flag. So I can use this little flag button up here and flag the message, which is going to hide the message content, which means the user is going to actually have to open the message and unflag it to see the verbiage that's behind it, which is kind of nice. And so if you have something to say, you don't really have maybe want the person to see that message right off the bat, or should some reason the teacher be displaying their portal on the screen, you would want the contents of the message there. So you can hide that message as such. All right, so that message is often sent. And I'm just going to close Messenger. To close Messenger, I just open it and I can close it like that. There's the message that I just sent. I can close that one too by Xing it out here. So that's how I would send a message to an individual stakeholder. When the individual receives that, I'm going to go ahead and show you what that looks like, since I sent myself a message here through the portal for practice. If I were a user and I click on the message, it opens up this portal on the side for me. And here I had that message flagged. We noticed that we didn't see the content of the message right on my portal. So to see that, I actually have to click on the message, and then it will unflag it, and it will show the contents of the message. So I can X that out. And we see now that I've checked that message, the alert is gone here, and it would not send me an email through BPS email. Well, that feature is super helpful if I want to message one individual, but sometimes I want to batch a message. So let's say I want this one to go out to all students and all teachers, or all parents and a select group of teachers. I can show you how to do a batch message that will allow you to do that. So to open up Focus Messenger, we click on the messenger, we open it up. You'll see we have a chat history here of previous messages, but I want to send a batch message to more than one individual. So to do that, I would come up here to the top, and I'm just going to slide that down for 1 second. Pardon me. And you see this little symbol right here, which is a stack of papers. So when you click on that stack of papers, it will open up the batch messenger feature. So when I open up the batch messenger feature, by clicking that little stack of papers in the upper right-hand corner, I can now send to single or multiples of either of these profiles, students, parents, or staff. So I'm going to go to parents. We see we have the parent's name as well as the child's name. So if I wanted to send that to individual parents, I could just single select and it would send it to that batch. Or I can use this button to check all visible, which would send a message to every parent who is registered for the parent portal. And let's say I wanted that to go out to students as well. I could click here, I could individually select students, or I could check all that's visible. And I could also send that to staff. If I let it fly right now, only students and parents are going to see those alerts. But I want to go ahead and pick certain staff members, maybe my reading staff, or I want to just send it to all teachers. I can click all. So if I were to send a message right now, I'm sending to all students, all parents, and all staff. And we type the contents of our message here. And when I hit send, it would go ahead and send a portal alert to all of those individuals. I'm not going to do that at the moment, so I'm just going to cancel out, which you have an option to as well. So that's Messenger. To close that, I just hit the little Messenger tab and it slides off to the side. So next would be the portal messages. We see we have no portal messages here, but everyone has a portal. Students have a portal, parents have a portal, teachers have a portal, and it might be helpful to put a message up there. Let's say we have federal impact aid forms that are due. I could post that message out to parents and students, and I might even put that on there for my staff. So I'm going to show you how to create a message to place on portals of various profiles at your school. So to do this, I would go to Setup, which is the first menu option here, and I click on the menu, which opens the submenus. And we see we have the setup of the portal messages is what I'm after. So Setup and Portal Messages. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Portal Messages, which will bring me to the area where I would add one. So we can give it a title. Let's just say I'm going to do testing message as such. And then we can add notes. So this is the area where we would add notes to the message. You can also add links if I wanted to. So I could say, hey, I want to add a link. What's the text I'm going to display? I want to say, click here. And then I could add a URL. I'm just going to add Google's URL right now, so we can see how that works when it gets there. I can also upload documents. If I wanted to choose a file, I could upload that file here, and it would be available for parents and students and teachers to download. And we have some advanced features here that really go beyond the level of a introductory portal section right now. But you can click through those features if you want. And there we go. So I've kind of created my portal message. I've added a link to it, and here's kind of as it would appear. I can change styles if I want, and superscripts and subscripts, and bold and italics, and we can format the font and the size, so you can make those messages however you want to appear. So those are the notes I wanted to add to it. The sort order, if I have more than one message and I want one to float up to the top, or I want to move one down, I can just order them 1, 2, 3, 4, and the first number that I put there would be appearing first in the portal message. We want to give it a start date. And you have the option to give it an end date. So if this is something that's time specific, like a parent night or a conference night, and you want it to fall off of your portal messages at a particular time in case you don't remember to get back there and take it out, you could give it an end date. If I give it no end date, it will stay on there. It will stay on there forever until you come in and delete that message or give it an end date. Just going to go back here and change this. Here, we're going to make that message for the 14th on, just in this case, so we can see it. All right, so now the next thing to do is you have to set the profiles that you want to see this. So here's where I can say I want all parents to see that portal message when they open their portal. I also want teachers to see it, and I can pick students. So now everybody's seeing this portal message. But one thing is you need to make sure you select your own profile if you're interested in seeing this message. So if you don't set your own profile, you will not see the portal message. So which you might think that the message isn't out there, but it really is. You just haven't chosen your profile. So in this case, I'm in a school editor profile, so I'm going to make sure I choose that so I get to see all the messages that are on the portal that have been created. The school will be hard-coded in, so you won't have an option unless you have multiple tenancy and you can post at different sites. So the public option here, this is visible to folks who are not logged into the mobile app. So these are mobile app features, so it would go to the public feed in that case. And then I can click enter, which will create the line item, and then click save. And so now we have a save that's here. If I wanted to send a push notification to parents with the mobile app, I could click that button to send push notification, and then it'll put that little red circle on there, just kind of like Facebook or Twitter does, and let you know that you have a notification. So the same would happen for the parent, and they could click on it and see your message. So we've successfully created a portal message. If I navigate back to the portal, we'll see we have a message here. A testing message. It says here are the notes we added, add notes to this message. And there's the link I put in. So if I click that link, it should take me right to Google. Voila. And it comes with a little exclamation point here initially, and that will eventually go away to an arrow after the message is not new and we view it again. So now let's say I want to get rid of this portal message, or I want to end date it. Let's say it was supposed to end yesterday. So I could go back here to the setup. And remember, I only see this message here because I selected the school editor profile in order to do that. And don't forget your school viewers and counselors who also have profiles out there. So I go to the setup menu. I want to go change that message. Maybe I read it. Now there's a mistake. So I'm going to go to setup menu, and I'm going to go to portal messages. Will push me up to this screen. If I wanted to delete that message, I could hit this minus sign and save, and it would delete it. But let's say I was supposed to take it off yesterday, or we had one that just automatically end dated. I could go ahead and give it an end date. Go ahead, click save. So now that message has been end dated as of yesterday in the system. If I go back to the portal, we see that message is gone because I gave it an end date, or if I had deleted it, it would disappear as well. Well, let's say I want to recycle a message. So it's there. I know I used one last night for Title I that I liked and already had the link to my flyer, etc. I could go here to Setup and go to Portal Messages. But we see we have no messages. So this area only displays active messages, so ones that are not outside of the start and end date. But if I want to see the messages that have been created in the past, I could go up here to this little button and click Show Inactive Notes. When I do that, here's that message that I just created that was end dated yesterday, so it wasn't visible in the portal. And here's where I can come back and bring it back to life. So let's say I want to add another couple days to that message. I could save it, and then if I come back to my portal, voila, the message is there. It's not new in this case, so let's put that little arrow. And I can have as many messages here as I want, and sort their order of how I want them to appear. All right, so that's portal messages. It's a neat way to contact with stakeholders. I highly recommend that you use that, especially during testing windows and things that you want to publish out there to the stakeholders at large. Next is going to be the view calendar option. See, we have no upcoming events. It's kind of sad. So when parents log in or students log in or their staff, they won't see any events here, school-wide events. But we can view the calendar if I want to add an event to here. And I can view the calendar. Now on the parent and student portal, what they'll see here is assign dates and due dates from their teachers. They can actually click on the link, which will take them back to the description that the teacher used in order to create the assignment. So it's a great way to communicate assignment data with parents, especially upcoming assignments and projects. Well, let's say I wanted to add an event to our calendar, and we have a parent open house that's scheduled. So I'm going to come over here to the calendar. These green check boxes that you see on the calendar are days that students are in session. So here, see, we had a holiday, and there's no green checkbox there. So let's say I want to add an upcoming event to here. I could go over here to the 31st if I wanted to add one there, and I can hit the little plus symbol, which will open up this little editor. I have to give it a title. So maybe I'm going to give it an open house night. And here I can put some notes. Please join us for open house from, and then we can go ahead and put our times in, etc. Just going to put some gibberish in there for us for the interest of time. And I could start the date, the beginning and end. If it's a multi-day event, you could have it on there, which would post a occurrence on each calendar date. And then I can click save. And when I do so, we see that the open house night now is here on our calendar. If a user clicks on it, it will pull up the description. Yours will look a little different because you're an editor, so you can change this event around. But for students, parents, and teachers, they would just see the title and then that short description that we added. Now, if we come back to the portal, we will see here, it takes a couple minutes to refresh, so don't expect to see it right away. But we will see the upcoming event now is here, and we'll post the 7 most upcoming events in order. So it will go chronologically from today forward and look at the next 7 items on your calendar, and it will post them here in everyone's portal as a quick little overview. I can also click on those, and then that's the contents of that message would display. So this is upcoming events in the portal. Super, super powerful there. So next we're going to get into the Find a Student box, and I'm going to show you the information you have at your fingertips about students. Great for minute conferences, or if I wanted to use the list to parse total student enrollment and capture a list of radar kids that we want to track. So I will see you in the next module. Thanks for listening along.